Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Create and Grow Your Dream Business podcast, where I'm super excited because today we are going to be talking about advertising your authentic self, right? And what it takes to really be expert in showing up and having the confidence that it takes to create and grow our dream business. So today I am featuring the beautiful Miss Christie Wilson from DelSur Marketing. Christie, it's a pleasure to have you on here. How are
Thank
you?
you. Good. How are you doing?
I'm feeling outstanding. I'll open the floor by allowing you a moment to tell the people about DelSur Marketing Group, where you're located, and how it is that you serve the public.
Okay. So we are DelSur Marketing. We're located in Rincon, and we are a full service marketing company, and we publish the Pooler, Effingham, and Bryan County magazines. Those are three of our products. And then, of course, like I said, we're full service. So we give our clients kind of a one-stop shop to where we can, help them with all of their marketing, not just print.
Yes, and that is so beautiful when you really think about it because we are in a time right now where Savannah, Pooler, Rincon, Effingham, Bryan County, like it's booming, it's exploding. I'm originally from Savannah, and I remember like back in 2011, it was like, I don't want to say a ghost town because people were still making moves, but we're really at a space right now in this local area where it's important to be in a space where you're marketing your business. So, I would love for us to talk about some confidence, right? And the confidence that it takes for someone to advertise their business. And so, you and Jen and the ladies at DelSur, you've built this incredible marketing empire, helping other businesses showcase themselves powerfully. But I've noticed, and I know that you've noticed as well, that people are struggling with showcasing themselves. So I want to ask you, how common is this amongst successful business women? And what advice would you give to the women in the community who are amazing at marketing others, but they're hesitating with marketing themselves?
Yeah, so I find that a lot of business women struggle with promoting themselves because they are harder on themselves. They feel like their business or their whatever it is, their product, whatever their service is that they're offering should be noticed before maybe they're noticed. So they feel, obligated to advertise that or to talk about that rather than talking about themselves and maybe where the business started and how it started. Maybe they feel like, people aren't interested in that and they don't care about that, which is false. It's not true at all.
Mm.
Um, so I feel like a lot of it just boils down to we're really hard on ourselves. Um, and we just find it hard to talk about ourselves and hard to promote ourselves.
Yeah, and that trickles like from personal to professional confidence. And that has a funny way of like one moment the lack of promoting ourselves feels like a personal thing, right? Like, oh, I may not want anybody to see that I don't have any hair. I don't want anybody to see that I
Right.
wear glasses on my physical self. And then sometimes the opposite side of promoting comes on the professional side of, am I good enough? Will they see or feel that one may have like the right knowledge and understanding or like been in the game long enough? So it's like sometimes that lack of promoting can be on both sides of the perspective on both sides of the spectrum.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's Monday, sometimes it's Tuesday. And like as women, we go through cycles
Hmm.
as business women to promote ourselves. And I think that's so important.
Absolutely. And I mean, I really do too. I feel like it's very important. I feel like when you are wherever you are with your business, whatever stage you're in, especially because it's a big town, I guess, with a small town feel, um, with all of the growth and everything, but people still want that human connection. And I feel like when you put a face with your business or whatever it is, it helps that connection. It helps them know, the face behind the business.
Right.
So I do think it's very important.
Yeah. The face behind the business part is so, I'm telling you. especially in the world of AI. I had a gentleman named Reed Hansen featured on the podcast last week or so. And he is like really good with digital marketing and AI. I actually even saw earlier today that Jan posted a
Mhm.
blog on
Right.
AI, and both of them were speaking the exact same thing in reference to you can use technology all day. You can possibly even feel like you're making advances inside of your business. But what brings business owners, especially women who are purposeful, real happiness within their business is being able to walk inside the grocery store and see like, oh, Christy, hey, right? Like we know each other, we're talking, we're building this relationship, and automatically knowing that it's positive because it builds community. And that's again very hard to do if you're not willing to put yourself out there and get into the community and make those connections. So I'm happy we talked about that. But it's not always just an individualized thing, right? Because
Right.
as the advertiser and the advertising director, you work with talented team members every single day, right? So, what would you say is the difference between team members who confidently present strategies to clients versus those who are holding back? And how does that confidence level impact the client's results?
So it impacts the client's results and it also impacts the what you're trying to sell. So somebody who or whatever you're, offering. So the first thing that I typically or somewhere along the line when I'm training somebody and I am, teaching them how to do things, and the most important thing to me is to believe in your product. Because if you go to a meeting with somebody and you are not confident or you don't come off confident
Yeah.
about what you're selling, they are going to sense that and you're going to lose the sale right then and there. If
Mm.
you go in confident and you believe in your product, and I always tell them, we have a product that everyone needs. You have something that they need.
Yeah.
So, there's already a win.
Right.
You're offering them something that they need.
Right.
Now you have to go in and you have to be confident about it.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like it affects us or whoever it is, the business negatively if they don't go in with confidence. And then, obviously, if they do go in with confidence, it's a positive,
Yeah.
whether it's you made the sale or you made a really good connection and relationship with somebody that is long lasting.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, and I love that because it's like you're giving um impact from both perspectives, kind of like what we just talked about. Sometimes it's personal, sometimes it's professional, right? And I find that when we are empowering teams, if we're only leading with the sale, if we're only leading with seeing success as closing the deal, it's going to be even harder to showcase yourself in life because now you're just tied directly to the dollar, which I mean, the dollar, of course, is going to buy us physical things. But then what happens when business has ups and business has downs? And again, back to like advertising ourselves. What happens when some days we feel like it, some days we don't? Sometimes we have life scenarios. Sometimes life is feeling great. I feel like the impact that you're talking about is really seeing that one can build their confidence even with making the connection.
Hmm.
That is just as powerful. I used to be a connection specialist for Zillow for a small period of time where it'll be my job to connect someone who's looking to buy a home with a local real estate agent.
Hmm.
And it was like in that moment where I saw myself as putting on the role of even just saying, Breye'l, you are a connection specialist. And I just took even just the title from that. And I go in with that energy now during the sale. I go in with that energy now during the connection to say, like, I'm going to get this sale and I'm going to make a good connection because the connection is so powerful also because it's that seed being planted. And when the team can come together and see, y'all, like locally, we are building bomb connections. It's like gardening. Um, like I can see the your background, right? Those
Yeah.
take a lot of small seeds for that to come. And if we only see happiness or empowerment or confidence in just the ones that sprout whenever they do, it's like you won't have longevity in your
Hmm.
business. And I know that advertising takes time. I bet some people may think, oh, as soon as I put myself in the magazine, I'm going to be like rich and famous.
No, it does not work that way. I have this conversation daily because, too, I want to be honest and transparent with people. But yeah, it's not an immediate return on investment. And, there's so many different things that go into it. What else are you doing? What is your service that you're offering or product that you're trying to sell? How in demand is it? But it definitely takes time. It's not an immediate return on investment by any means. Now, for some, it may be, and it has been, but we can't guarantee that. But every conversation that we have with somebody, whether it leads to a sale or not, in my opinion, it's like you were saying it, we say planting seeds all the time.
Yeah.
We're planting seeds. And then, we've got to water those seeds. So that's, keeping that connection going. And whether it be 6 months down the road, 2 years down the road, whatever it is,
Yeah.
they will come back to you because you're familiar and you've nurtured that relationship with them.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So now I have to ask you,
Hmm.
how do you balance staying authentic while
Hmm.
positioning yourself as the authority clients need to trust you with their marketing investment?
That's a tough question, I guess, and it probably shouldn't be. I don't know. I've never really thought of myself as anything but authentic.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like for me,
Mm,
it's hard to juggle. I've never really thought of it like that, honestly. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I just think people can sense when you're not being authentic and
mm,
when you just see them as a dollar sign.
mm. That's
Uh,
real.
so
That's real. Like that is you got me on pause now because and I'm trying to really figure out which angle to come from because it's so much to unpack right there with what you just said. It's so true that people can sense that because I
Mhm.
believe if more women use their senses, their intuition in business, then you can almost sense which direction to go into, right? Kind of reminds me of our pre-conversation where we talked a little bit about our past and how we worked different jobs, different experiences before we got here. So imagine not using your senses and experience to get where you are right now, and then you try to sell
Yeah.
and think you can just read from a script, or you
Mhm.
think you can just copy what somebody saw on social media. It'll never hit, like,
Mm-mm.
never seriously make you feel fulfilled
Right.
because you have to build the human connection. Like, you have to, it's like thinking if someone, I'm going to get a cucumber from this tomato seed that I planted. How? It can never happen. I love your answer when you said that you never saw yourself as anything other than authentic. That's so real, also, because that means that you have accepted who you are. And
Yeah.
knowing that you're growing every day, that's so great because the mind sometimes tries to like toggle people between like, this is who I think I am and this is how I'm showing up. This is who I think I am, this is how I show up. But you're saying you're very present.
Yeah, I mean, and when you word it like that, that's not to say that I don't struggle, before a meeting with nerves or whatever, depending
Sure.
on who it is. Um, but as far as being authentic when I'm dealing with a client and trying to sell them something, I think it also goes back to having confidence in your product. It's easy
Yeah.
to be authentic when you believe in what you're selling.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in what you're selling, it would kind of be hard you wouldn't be being authentic about
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
So I think that they all go together.
Yeah.
You have to have the confidence, and then you need to believe in what you're selling, believe in yourself, and then be authentic.
Yeah, for sure. So now let's talk about leadership visibility. If we're really talking authenticity, right? I mean, because number one, it doesn't get more visible almost in a magazine, right?
Right.
Like that's like front in your face for sure. But I found that many business women tell me that they're comfortable being behind the scenes, right? Making things happen more there than being the front face of their business. So how would you say that you and the ladies at DelSur have overcame that obstacle?
Um, it definitely took, I think I was more on board with it than Jan was. And that just goes to show you again, for an owner of a company, CEO of a company, it's harder for them to promote themselves. Maybe it just is uncomfortable. They just don't feel like it's the right move. Um, but we did actually in the Women in Business issue this past year,
Yeah,
we promoted ourselves,
yeah,
which I thought was great because I think that it was good for everybody to kind of read more about Jan, get to know her, and then us as just a company and what all we do. Um, but I don't even remember what the question was that you asked me, to be honest, where I was going with that. I told you to do
What
this.
would you recommend? What would you recommend? What steps would you give to the women to help them overcome that?
Just do it. I mean,
Mm,
and that's another thing. Like when I'm training people, the best I can sit here for hours and hours and hours, and I can go through the media kit and I can go through, this phone call or that phone call, but none of it's going to be the same. So the best advice that I give to them, I'm like, just do it. Just
mm,
start doing it and ask questions. But, for them, for a business owner, just do it. Just take the chance and do it. And I
mm,
really think that they would be pleasantly surprised. It's
mm.
not that they have to promote themselves constantly because, as far as with J. DelSur, there's Jan, obviously, and then there's me, and then a couple of others. And maybe, I don't know this, but maybe too, they feel like they're not the ones necessarily making the sales they're not the face that the people see constantly. So then they're, why would I promote myself? I should promote them or, it's more comfortable. But my answer would be just do it.
Yeah,
And, I think that it is probably nerve-wracking um, at first
yeah,
and you're unsure, but I think that they would be pleasantly surprised with the results.
yeah. I'm happy that you resaid that again because that's exactly what I was going to piggyback off of. It's the pleasantly surprised, right? It is very interesting how even back to the gardening perspective, I love to garden, so I'm always in that perspective. Um, it is it is just like again, we know that we're planting seeds of cucumbers. Well, if you love cucumbers, you're going to be more excited about planting the seed because you know what you're going to get. And like you said, if you're leading with knowing that you have a great product, you know what you're going to get. It's almost like when people think that they're going to get trolled, like they
Mhm.
don't put themselves out there because the fear of
Yeah.
troll. But if you really look at it statistically, there's nobody really saying anything. It's all in our minds.
Mhm.
And I know that it's the same way for women who are interested in promoting themselves in the magazine. So, what advice would you give to a woman who is struggling? And I know you said just do it, but I'm saying more so from the what thought process would you take her through when she's saying, okay, I want to do it, but I want you to put a picture of my school building versus a picture of me, or a picture of my team versus a picture of me? Like, what mindset perspective do you help that client go through to empower them to say that it's okay to put your face on it this time, you know?
Yeah. Um, I mean, again, each situation that I'm in is different. And I also respect people too, if they are just adamant that no, 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 no,
Yeah,
I'm not doing it, then I'm going to respect that and I'm not going to keep on and keep on.
right.
Um, but I know me as a person, I am so interested in the how or the why a business may have been started or something
Mm,
like that. And I feel like the general public, wants to know that. Um, so that's tr truly where I would start is just telling them that, I do feel like it's not, I wouldn't say, I would probably word it more as like, they're not advertising themselves, but they're, you know, telling the community
Mhm.
about who they are and where they came from. And maybe they've lived in Effingham or Pooler or Bryan County all their life and, those kinds of things. I think it's good um, to talk about yourself a little bit because I do think that people are interested in how it came to be.
Yeah, I piggyback off of that 100% because it's relatability back to the human aspect, right? Like all of this circles, this is so encompassing because it's all it sounds so easy when we both are talking about it right now. So that's but I know for a fact people are gonna listen to this podcast episode 1, 3, 5 years from now and be like, listening to you ladies changed my life because leaning into relatability, having other people, not seeing them just as businesses or just again seeing them as the dollar, but having other people be able to feel like they have something in common with you, it makes a person feel so special. It makes a person feel so warm and inviting. And you would actually be surprised how the conversion rate in business and even again to our confidence skyrockets when we get out of robot form and actually just strive to be relatable with the person, like picking up phone, like, hey, I'm Brielle, how are you? Like, let's
Yeah,
manners, politeness, all of these small things make a huge difference.
it really does.
Yeah,
Makes a huge difference.
yes, like a huge, huge one. And so I would imagine that sometimes you have some clients that hesitate in premium marketing services. So, how do you help them see the return on investment in professional marketing?
So with print, it's harder to obviously, you know, um, track a return on investment. There are ways, but it is harder. As when it comes to the digital side of marketing, there are different things, different programs and stuff, and they can run the analytics and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Um, so that is how they can track how well their digital marketing or whatever it is that they're choosing to do
Yeah.
uh, to find out how well it's working for them.
Yeah. And so, have you seen or noticed that, like, some people will continue to invest strictly off of the sales, and some people will continue to invest like strictly off of the leads or the connections.
What do you mean? Like, they're not,
Like,
what do you mean?
yeah, I can explain that a little bit better. Remember how you were just saying that in print and even when you're advertising, sometimes you're not going to see an immediate investment, right? So have you seen in investors' confidence that even with them just doing this premium investing, that the fact that they made local connections that empowered them to keep investing, or the fact that they got more email leads, right? Like again, because sometimes it's not always an immediate sale. So have you seen those other return on investments to be profitable in business confidence for people to continue advertising?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And then not only that, like if with us, the way that we work, we're constantly checking to see how things are performing. And if things are not performing the way we want them to perform, then we will offer suggestions and, make changes, you know, so it will perform better or
Yeah,
perform to where we want it to perform. And I feel like that because we're also in constant communication with our clients too.
yeah,
So I feel like that kind of helps build their confidence a little bit too, because they feel like they have a team behind
yeah.
them, a team that is supporting them and wants the best for their business.
Yeah, yeah, and that's powerful. And a team who cares,
Mhm.
right? Like I can already we know and tell like you ladies care, and that makes a big difference. Again, especially when people are investing money monthly and they're not getting that return on investment dollar
Right.
for dollar, knowing, like you said, that team, and I have somebody I can call, and it's not just their own minds. Because as businesswomen, again, get so caught up in the fear. So he's like, I find that when women are more fearful to not showcase themselves, they are more like headstrong in the business, and when things just need to go right, and that has to happen when again, like when you just start to showcase yourself and say, okay, well, the month I'm not making sales or I'm not getting this direct return on investment. I got 75 leads from these magazines and print ads. So let me call them. Let me see who I'm going to lunch with today. Let me work on that. And so I know that that makes a big difference. Would you say that premium investors or business owners who confidently invest in their growth, that they need to have like a particular mindset when it comes down to advertising themselves or investing themselves in their marketing?
Yes, and we've already touched on it. Just so many people want immediate gratification,
Mhm.
and they want it, so everything's so quick now.
Mhm.
So having the mindset, kind of like I do, that every conversation that I have is planting a seed, they need to do the same and have the mindset of every ad that's being shown or every email that's being sent or whatever it is,
Yeah.
it is building your brand, it's building awareness, and it's going to take time. Give it time.
Yeah.
And you can't just stop 30 days later because, well, I didn't get anything. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, there's a lot of things that, don't work that way, unfortunately, but it's just the way it is. So having the mindset that you are putting this work in, I mean, it's kind of like going to the gym. You're going to the gym 3 days a week and you don't see any results, but
Yeah.
you keep going. I mean, same thing. You got to keep going. You can't just stop because you don't see immediate results.
Mhm. Christy, this was good. This was really good, okay? Because we right there at the end, I had a question, but you literally answered the question with the question on top of the question, because it's really about women recognizing that you got the dream and then you have the reality. And that one action step is to just do it. And there's going to be emotions behind it. You're going to feel fear, you're going to feel nerves, and sometimes it's even happiness, because that's one thing that helps me continue to grow. I'm reading this book called Fanatical Prospecting. And I got the book recommendation from one day calling a lady who sent me an ad in the mail, Trisha Cook. Shout out to Trisha Cook, realty team. And I called her and she told me, thank you so much. Now, on Trisha's flyer, it says she was $500,000 short from having $1 billion year last year. So, of course, when I see this, I'm like, Brielle, are we going to call Trisha? Like, what? Like, what are we going to do? I get on the phone, tell her about queenhood, tell her about confidence, let her know I would love to host a confidence workshop for her team. She tells me, thank you. And she believes her team would benefit from it. And she told me about fanatical prospecting. And so when I leaned into the book and recognized you have to have enthusiasm in this business, you have to have enthusiasm when it comes down to showcasing yourself, showcasing your business, investing in yourself, because any mindset other than being enthusiastic, confident, fanatical, whatever word you want to put right there, anyone that's just not positive and is negative, we're not going to last. And so you help the audience today really recognize that it's time for them
Yeah.
to showcase themselves and it's time for them to advertise themselves. So I'm going to wrap this podcast up right now. Let the ladies know one more time your address, LinkedIn for the business, exactly where they can come and find you, ladies.
Yeah, so we are on Facebook. We have a Facebook page for DelSur Marketing. We have a Facebook page for Pooler Magazine, Effingham Magazine, and Bryan County Magazine. Then we also have, web pages for each one of them. I know Jan's on LinkedIn. I'm not probably on LinkedIn as much as I should be, but Jan is on LinkedIn. And then we are located in Rincon off of Goshen Road Extension in the two-story building.
That's right. Thank you so much for this chat, Christy. It was lovely. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. Be sure to like the video, share the video with a friend, and remember that it is always your opportunity to authentically advertise yourself. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.